Howdy, folks, and welcome to the Hillbilly Kitchen. We're on a little road trip today, and I thought it would be a good time for a conversation to kind of set the record straight, because there's been a lot of videos made about me, who I am, and stuff like that, what I'm worth, how the Hillbilly Kitchen got started. So just kind of ride along with us, and we're going to chat and kind of clear some of the misconceptions up, because there's a lot of people that ain't exactly telling the truth. And I've got a friend with me who's going to kind of ask some questions, and maybe we'll answer some of your questions.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from and such.
Well, I'm originally from the mountains of North Georgia, right where Georgia, North Carolina, and Tennessee meet. The county seat was Hiawassee. The closest town was probably Warren, North Carolina. For years, that was our address. That's how close we were to North Carolina, even though we lived in Georgia. Grew up in a little community called Gumlog. My granny had a house there, and we all kind of lived around there together. Now I live about 100 miles due north of there, where Tennessee, Kentucky, and Virginia meet, very near Cumberland Gap. So I didn't go far.
Tell us a little bit about your family, your kids, such as that.
Well, I grew up with my extended family around me. I mentioned that my granny, my pa, a lot of my cousins, aunts, and uncles. And it's really something that I wish my kids had had more of. I only have one brother, and he's 3 years younger than I am. My mama passed away many, many years ago, and my father is still living. He lives in Florida. I have 4 daughters, which is one of the things that has been wildly misreported. But anyway, the oldest one actually did a few videos with me not long after we started, and she started her own YouTube channel, which I think she's kind of doesn't do a whole lot with it now, but she may start that up again. The second child is she moved away and really hasn't been around for a long time. She just decided to move away, and that's her choice. And the 2 younger ones both work with me, and they both help with the kitchen. And they are Samantha, Jacqueline, Alexandria, and Melinda. So now you know. I do have a stepson, and he was from a marriage that Brett had before we met. And he really wasn't a part of our family when the kids were growing up, which is sad, but that too is the way life is sometimes. Brett and I were married for almost 36 years.
Okay, there's been some discussion on YouTube about what was the cause of Brett's death. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
There was a lot of videos made about that. And those of you who followed the channel back then, when Brett got sick, he had me request that you all pray for him. And that post got so many comments on it. And I do want to thank you all very, very much for that. Brett had had diabetes for many, many years, and he had a lot of complications from his diabetes. And he had gotten sick, was recovering, developed pneumonia. And when a diabetic develops pneumonia, it just is never good. And because of the time we were living in, if you went to a hospital, you were completely isolated. And that was something that he just did not want at all. And a lot of people had really criticized me because they said that he wasn't getting medical attention and stuff. He was under the care of a doctor, and he was receiving medical supplies, and even equipment was delivered to the house, which was kind of your only option during that time. If you went to a hospital, like I said, you were isolated, and he wasn't willing to do that. His official cause of death was complications of diabetes, most probably a heart attack. That's what's on the death certificate. So now you know the official cause.
Tell us how the Hillbilly Kitchen got started and who all was involved in that.
Well, it was started on Valentine's Day 2014, and for a very long time, several years, Brett had nagged me endlessly trying to get me to do cooking videos. And I really did not want to. I didn't want to be on YouTube. I didn't want that kind of that just wasn't anything I ever imagined I wanted to do. And we were snowed in on Valentine's Day, and he started again, you need to be doing cooking videos, and didn't have anything else to do. It's not like, we were going to go anywhere or anything because it was a pretty big snowfall. So I decided I was going to make snow cream, and I thought nobody would watch it. That's why I decided I'd make snow cream. But I did it real serious, went outside. You can watch the video. I'll link it in here. In fact, I'll link it right here. But I went outside, got the snow, and as I was walking back through, he said, "What are we going to call this channel?" Again, I'm thinking nobody's going to watch it, and I'm kind of sort of being cute about it. I said, "The Hillbilly Kitchen," because I'm a hillbilly. And he goes, "Ooh, I like that. That's catchy." So while I take the snow in the kitchen and I finish up making the snow cream, adding the other ingredients to it, he's setting the channel up. And I give him the video and he edits it. Of course, it's a pretty simple video and don't take him a real long time to edit. And we put it up. Well, 3/4 of the country was covered in a blizzard that year at that time. So everybody was searching snow. And it got, I don't know, a couple hundred views, which is very, very rare for a new channel and a new video. So I had to make a few more videos. And like I said, I thought nobody would watch it. And we made a couple more videos and went back and looked, and I noticed that 1,000 people had watched me make a pot roast. And I don't know, I did 3 or 4 videos and they were up for a little while. And it was in like a month, 1,000 people watched it. And then I knew I was going to have to keep making videos. I mentioned that Samantha did a couple videos with me when we had not been started long. The first one, and actually the only one that we ever did together, I'm sure it's still up. We did a cranberry orange cookie, and we were still really developing the channel, which it's still developing now. But we tried to do a hee haw skit where we were like gossiping, like the women that were gossiping on hee haw. But neither one of us are very good actors. And I have had some people fuss about that. They'll watch it and they'll comment on it and they'll be like, "Well, that ain't very Christian, be talking about your neighbors." It was all a joke if you go watch the cranberry orange cookies. But a lot of the videos that we did together, we had to take them down because YouTube's community standards changed. And I said, the channel was developing. The very first verse that I put in, I put it in a video that was called "God, Guns, and Gravy." And Brett said that I needed to talk passionately about something in the middle of the video. So that's kind of what I did. And like most of mine and Samantha's videos, that one had to come down because the community standards changed. But that video really kind of blew up. And that's when I realized that folks were watching. The first verse that was ever in a video was Nehemiah 4:14, and it says, "I looked and rose up and said unto the nobles and the rulers and the rest of the people, Be not afraid of them. Remember the Lord, which is great and terrible, and fight for your brethren, for your sons and your daughters, your wives and your houses." But like I said, things changed and YouTube's community standards changed, so we had to take that down because they considered that a sensitive subject.
I've seen on YouTube that you're quite successful and probably have millions of dollars. Tell us about all these fortunes that you've accumulated since you've been on the Hillbilly Kitchen.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, I want to say that God has blessed me beyond anything I ever imagined. And I am truly grateful for the Hillbilly Kitchen, for every single view, every single dollar that it has made. But this stuff about me being worth millions of dollars, I have no idea where they're getting that. Um, I think what they're doing, and I heard another person on YouTube talking about this, they said she was worth like $35 million. And there's videos that have me worth over 5 billion. I think they are taking our property and putting it into markets like New York or Los Angeles or something where property values are just way, way, way higher. I live in a fairly modest house. It's 1,134 square feet and it's on about an acre, and it's not in a place where property values are exceptionally high. It's in a place where the cost of living is very, very low. So I am worth six figures, but I am not worth seven. And God has, like I said, abundantly blessed me beyond anything I could have ever imagined. Um, and before Brett passed, we were able to pay off that house like 8 years early. And we had struggled with finances for years and years and years and years. And in fact, that our house had been in foreclosure for almost 15 years. So this has been a blessing beyond my wildest imagination. But I'm not worth millions. I truly wish, I wish I was, because if I had more money, I could help more people. And I am one of my greatest blessings is that I'm in a position where I am able to help other people now. And I'm not the one who always needs to be helped, but because I do know what it's like to need help, I think, you know, it's just such an important part of life to be able to help other people and be able to bless other people. And there is no greater blessing than to be able to bless other people. And God has given that to me. So whether it's millions or what it is now is perfectly fine with me.
If YouTube keeps going like it's going and the Hillbilly Kitchen's around in 5 years, where do you see yourself in 5 years with the channel?
Um, probably right where I am now. There's been, I've tried to expand onto other platforms, and I would like to do that. I would like to get Facebook monetized, which I've never been able to do. And hopefully, because stuff is changing now and our political climate's changing a little bit, maybe that will be possible. It would be really nice to be able to have more than one income stream, because in the past 4 years, our views on YouTube have gone from about 4.5 million a month to less than 1 million a month. And that's a great big change in income. Now, because I have been so blessed and I don't owe anything, I don't have any debts, it's not a problem, but it would be good, obviously, if I was still getting 4 million views a month. So it would be nice to diversify a little bit and monetize on other platforms, but I don't see YouTube going away, or I certainly hope it doesn't. I don't see me not doing this. At some point, I may slow down and maybe only do a couple videos a month, but we've added in live streams. I'm trying to do more shorts. I'll probably do more shorts in the future, because that seems to kind of be the way things are going. But other than adding more shorts, I don't know. I wanted to do a weekly podcast, but I haven't been able to quite get that going. Maybe I'll get that going. Is there anything else you think folks really want to know?
I don't know. What do you want to tell folks?
Well, I'd like to know who you are. Y'all are just going to have to click like and subscribe. Be sure to click the notification bell, because we're not going to answer that question until the next video. I do appreciate you all being part of this journey. I appreciate you all being part of the last 11 years. And I hope you're going to be around for the next 11 years, because I plan on being. I really do thank God for each and every one of you every day. And I pray that He blesses you, that you know His peace, you feel His presence, and you understand how deeply He loves you. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you can find out who that is. And until next time, remember to put God first.